A single grain of dust drifting near Jupiter could be older than Jupiter itself, older than the Sun, older than the solar system that surrounds it. Scientists have found presolar grains embedded in meteorites that formed around 7 billion years ago, long before Earth ever existed. This is only the beginning of a list that stretches back to the very edge of time itself. That grain of dust is entry 1. It is a fragment of a dying star that exploded before our sun was born, and its structure survived the birth of an entire solar system without melting down. If you held one in your hand, you would be touching something that predates every planet you have ever seen in the night sky. But the next one on this list does not just predate the solar system. It predates every star you can see with your eyes. Entry 2 is the light from the first stars, and we are only now starting to detect its faint traces. These stars formed roughly 100 million years after the beginning of the universe, made of nothing but hydrogen and helium, with none of the heavier elements that make up your body. They burned hot, they burned fast, and most of them died within a few million years, seeding space with the first heavy elements ever created. Without them, carbon, oxygen, and iron would not exist anywhere. But here is the unsettling part. We have never directly seen one of these stars, only the shadow of their influence on the gas around them. That absence should unsettle you, because it means the objects that built the periodic table are invisible to us. And that leads to entry 3, the boundary where light itself becomes visible for the first time. The cosmic microwave background is the oldest light in the universe that we can actually observe directly. It was released about 380,000 years after the beginning of everything, when the universe cooled enough for photons to finally travel freely instead of scattering off charged particles. This light has been stretching and cooling for over 13 billion years, and now arrives as microwave radiation at a temperature of just 2.7 degrees above absolute zero. Every direction you look, in every corner of the sky, this radiation is there, a faint afterglow of creation itself. But the next entry cannot be observed at all. Not with light, not with any telescope ever built. So what happens when the universe becomes so dense that light cannot pass through it, and the only evidence left behind is a ripple in space itself? Entry 4 is the cosmic neutrino background, a sea of particles released even earlier than the light we can see, just 1 second after the beginning. These neutrinos barely interact with anything, passing through entire planets without slowing down. They are considered indirect evidence of the earliest moments of the universe, yet we have never detected them directly because the equipment required does not yet exist. Nobody has confirmed them, and for now, nobody may ever be able to. But the next one on this list is not a background radiation. It is an actual physical object, and it has been alive since almost the beginning of time. Entry 5 is a star known as a hyper-metal-poor star, a stellar relic containing almost none of the heavier elements found in younger stars like our Sun. This scarcity is the signature of an object born when the universe itself had barely begun forging anything heavier than hydrogen. Some of these ancient stars are estimated to be over 13 billion years old, meaning they ignited when the universe was less than 1 billion years into its existence, and have burned quietly ever since. Take a star born almost at the dawn of time. Let it survive nearly the entire lifespan of the universe, untouched, and you get a living fossil hanging in the night sky. But it takes more than age to make something monstrous, and the next entry does not just survive time, it bends it. Entry 6 is a supermassive black hole discovered in the early universe, dated to less than 1 billion years after everything began. Its estimated mass reaches hundreds of millions of times that of our Sun, an object so large it should not have had time to form so quickly, according to standard models of stellar evolution. Around it, matter spirals inward at blistering speeds, heating to temperatures that outshine entire galaxies. If you have made it this far into the oldest and strangest objects the universe has ever produced, drop a like right now, because the next entry does not just challenge how fast things can grow. It challenges how old a single point of light can be while still burning. Entry 7 is one of the most distant quasars ever detected, an incredibly bright, active galactic core powered by a feeding black hole. Its light has been traveling toward us for over 13 billion years, meaning we are seeing it as it existed when the universe was still in its infancy. And this is where things become strange, because that light is a ghost. The object itself has continued evolving for billions of years since that light left it, and what it looks like today is something no telescope will ever show us. But the next entry is not a bright object at all. It is defined by an absence. Entry 8 is the void, one of the largest known regions of the universe, nearly empty of galaxies, stars, or any visible matter at all. These cosmic voids can stretch across hundreds of millions of light years, vast pockets of darkness bordered by dense walls of galaxies. Some of this emptiness is thought to trace back to the earliest fluctuations in the universe, meaning the nothingness itself is as old as everything surrounding it. Standing at the center of one, if such a thing were possible, you would see almost no light in any direction, a silence stretched across unimaginable distance. But the next entry is the opposite of empty. It may be the most information-dense structure the universe has ever built. Entry 9 is the structure known as a black hole's event horizon, the boundary beyond which nothing, not even light, can escape. The oldest confirmed supermassive black holes are believed to have existed since less than 1 billion years after the beginning, meaning their event horizons have been sealing away information for almost the entire history of everything. No light escapes, no signal escapes, and whatever falls in leaves no trace behind. But somehow, even a black hole billions of years old is not the strangest survivor on this list. The next entry may not be a single object at all. Entry 10 is the concept of dark matter, an invisible substance that appears to have shaped the universe since its earliest moments. It does not emit light, it does not reflect light, and it has never been directly detected. Yet its gravitational influence holds galaxies together that would otherwise fly apart. Calculations suggest it has existed since fractions of a second after the beginning, a hidden ingredient the equations seem to require in order for reality itself to function. And that leaves us with a question nobody has answered. What was here before dark matter took its current form? Entry 11 is the era known as cosmic inflation, an unimaginably brief period believed to have occurred a tiny fraction of a second after the beginning, when the universe expanded faster than the speed of light. In that instant, space itself stretched from smaller than an atom to the size of a grapefruit, locking in the patterns that would eventually become galaxies, stars, and everything you can see tonight. No stars, no light, no structure of any kind existed yet. Only expanding space carrying the blueprint for all of it. But even this cannot be the final entry, because something had to exist before expansion could begin at all. Entry 12 is the earliest moment physics can currently describe, a state so extreme that gravity, space, and time may not have behaved the way they do now. At this point, the universe is theorized to have existed at temperatures and densities beyond anything ever recreated, even in the most advanced laboratories on Earth. We have never observed this moment directly, and given the limits of our instruments, we may never be able to. It sits at the very edge of what mathematics can describe, like a locked door with only a keyhole to look through. And beyond that keyhole is the final entry on this list, the one that makes every previous entry look almost recent by comparison. Entry 13 is the singularity itself, the theoretical starting point of space, time, and matter, compressed into a state where the laws of physics as we understand them stop applying entirely. Nothing older exists, because before this point, the very concept of before may not have meant anything at all. It is not a place you could travel to, and not a moment you could stand and observe. Only a boundary condition our equations run into and cannot cross. Sitting at the true beginning of everything, older than every grain of dust, every dead star, every silent void, it remains the one entry on this list that may never be fully understood. If you have made it this far into the oldest things the universe has ever produced, drop a like and subscribe, because there are more lists like this one, still waiting, each one reaching further back into the dark. And if you are not ready to leave the edge of time just yet, there is a whole playlist built for exactly that, sitting just below this video, ready whenever you are.